The promise was made in spring. "Layla, let's go to the park together when the flowers bloom," her father had said, smiling faintly despite the pain that lined his thin, pale face. It was the last thing he ever said to her. Spring never came for Layla again. After her father passed away, Layla's life unraveled. Her mother had left years ago, chasing another man and never looking back. Now alone in the world, the child was passed from one reluctant relative to another, each day more miserable than the last. At her aunt's house, the torment began immediately. "You want to live under our roof?" Her cousin sneered. "Then you have to go through an initiation." "No, stop it, let go," Layla cried, struggling. "Then get out," he spat coldly. Her aunt's children bullied her daily. "You're just a burden," one of them said. "Even your own mother didn't want you." Her aunt echoed the sentiment. "We didn't sign up to raise a brat abandoned by her own mother." One day, after barely crawling back home bruised and battered, she was met not with comfort, but fists. Her uncle, furious after losing money at the gambling house, lashed out violently. "This is all that damn girl's fault," he roared. "Ever since she got here, my luck's gone to hell." "Eden, stop, please. You're going to kill her." Her aunt cried, trying to intervene. "Let go of me," he shouted. It was hell, but with nowhere else to go, Layla endured. Day after day, night after night, misery piled upon her like heavy snow. One night, desperate not to be cast out again, she pleaded, "Auntie, I'll stay in the corner. I'll be a good girl. Please don't abandon me." But her aunt had reached her limit. "Enough, Layla. Go find someone else to take you in. Auntie, please." Layla sobbed. "Anywhere is better than here, wouldn't you say?" her aunt said coldly. "Goodbye." So once again, on the coldest day of winter, Layla was turned out into the streets. She went door to door, trying other relatives. The answers were always the same. "You're just a girl, we don't need another mouth to feed." "What did you do to get kicked out?" "I don't want your kind in my home. We can barely feed ourselves. How can we take care of you?" To them, Layla wasn't family. She was an orphan, a burden, a symbol of shame. A child abandoned by her own mother. Finally, one uncle gave her a scrap of hope. "You've heard of Berg, haven't you?" he asked. "Yes," Layla nodded. He scribbled something on a slip of paper. "This is the address of Bill Remmer. He's the groundskeeper for a duke. He's the only relative you've got left with any stability. I'll send him word." With nothing left to lose, Layla boarded a train that would take her from her birthplace in Lovita to the foreign land of Berg. She clutched the piece of paper with the unfamiliar name, hoping this final destination might be different. As the train approached Karlbar station in Berg, her nerves set in. What if I can't find him? What if he turns me away? No, I mustn't think like that, she told herself. This is my father's homeland. I can speak the language. I'll ask for directions if I get lost. It'll be all right. It has to be. At the station, she saw a postman and approached him timidly. "Excuse me. Hello, Mr. Postman. Could you help me find this address?" The man looked at the note and smiled. "Ah, the Harhat estate. You're looking for Bill Remmer, the groundskeeper. I know him well. I'm heading that way for a delivery. Come along." Layla blinked in surprise. "Really? May I thank you? An unexpected kindness." It warmed her more than her thin coat ever could. As they neared the estate, Layla gazed in awe at the mansion surrounded by sprawling gardens. "So this is where the Duke lives. Mr. Remmer must be the caretaker here. I wonder what he's like. Will he take me in?" She straightened her posture, rehearsed her introduction one last time, and approached a man tending to the grounds. "Excuse me, are you Mr. Bill Remmer?" He turned to look at her. "Yes, that's me." Staying calm as she had practiced all the way on the train, Layla bowed politely. "Hello, Uncle Bill. My name is Layla Llewellyn. I've come from Lovita." "Lovita?" Bill asked, raising a brow. "You crossed the border all by yourself?" "Yes, I came by train," she answered nervously. Just then, the postman caught up. "I see you've met the girl, Mr. Remmer," he said, handing over a letter. "She said she was looking for you. Here's something addressed to you." Layla stared at the letter. A letter from Lovita. Bill read aloud. "Dear Mr. Bill Remmer, a child will be coming to see you. Her name is Layla Llewellyn, daughter of Albert Llewellyn. The child's mother left home long ago for another man. Albert fell into despair, turned to drink, and died. She's been passed from one relative to another, but no one can afford to keep her. You are the only relative with a stable job. I hope you'll take her in. Bill muttered angrily, a faint connection, my foot. Her father and I haven't spoken in 20 years. He crumpled the letter in frustration. Now I'm supposed to raise a child I've never met. Me a widower, working full-time, alone, blast it all. Layla's heart sank. He looked her over thin, trembling, wearing worn clothes, and carrying just one small bag. A girl who had crossed borders with no guardian. A girl who had been cast away by everyone else. How can grown adults send a little thing like this off alone? Bill murmured. Layla spoke softly, Uncle Bill. I'm nearly 12. I can read and help with your work. I won't be a burden. Bill sighed. Come on, let's talk after you've had something to eat. In the cottage, Layla sat at the table, unsure of what to do. Is that all you're eating? Bill asked. I don't eat much, she said. Really, I'm fine. I don't like picky eaters. Children should eat like cows, he grunted. Layla blinked. It's hard to eat like a cow. But I'll try my best. He couldn't help but chuckle. She's been walking on eggshells her whole life. Tell me, he asked, aren't you afraid of me? No, you didn't shout at me. You didn't hit me, and you gave me warm food. That means, you must be kind. Bill froze. What kind of life has she lived? To be so grateful for just that, he stared at her quietly. He knew he couldn't keep her. But where could he send her? Who would take her? You can stay here for now, he finally said, until I figure out what to do next. Layla looked down. As I thought, it's happening again. Where will I be sent away to this time? Early one morning, Layla greeted Uncle Bill. Did you sleep well, Uncle Bill? She asked, her voice gentle. Bill smiled tiredly. Yes, good morning. Layla looked around the breakfast table. Should I move these plates to the table? Thank you for the food. Bill reached for another plate and offered it to her. Here, eat up. She laughed softly. Of course I'll eat like a cow. Nearby, a group of servants on their break whispered among themselves, their curiosity barely contained. Have you heard? One servant said. Bill is looking after a young girl now. What? Mr. Bill and a girl? That's absurd. I'd sooner believe he was raising an elephant or a lion. Another scoffed. But a third insisted. I swear it's true. I'm certain it's a girl. How strange, said the first. Mr. Bill has lived alone since his wife passed away. I never thought he had any children. There must be some reason he's taking care of her. But if these rumors are true, it's serious. How is that gruff man going to raise a girl? Who knows, the second mused. Maybe he's better at it than we think. After all, he has a real gift for tending his flowers. That's true, the third agreed. He's the best groundskeeper Arvis has ever had. Even the dowager couldn't fault his work. Maybe he'll raise the girl to be as beautiful as his flowers. Really, flowers and children are very different, the first countered. You're not taking this seriously because you're not responsible for her, said the second sharply. Sounds like just a rumor. Let's get back to work, shall we? But as they looked toward the garden, they spotted something that silenced them. Look there, whispered the third. Is that really a girl? Yes, said the first, a small blonde girl. How old do you think she is? Look at her running after Mr. Bill. How did a child so young come to be in his care? The tragic story of the orphaned Layla Llewellyn quickly spread like wildfire among the servants. One day, as Layla ran an errand carrying freshly picked flowers, she approached a servant. Here are the flowers, she said shyly. The servant smiled kindly. You're Layla, aren't you? Here, take this. She handed Layla a small packet of cookies. Startled, Layla asked, For me? That's right. Enjoy. Thank you, Layla replied, waving goodbye. Goodbye, miss. She end up in an orphanage, won't she? One servant whispered sadly. How awful. Who knows what Bill will decide? Another said. When asked about Layla, Bill's answer was always the same. I'm thinking about it. She can't stay here forever. I have to think long and hard about what to do. From spring into summer, Bill's thoughtful silence continued, while Layla followed closely behind him, helping with his gardening work. This quiet companionship became a familiar sight to everyone on the estate. Bill's the best groundskeeper in Arvis, one servant remarked, but his only real talent seems to be raising flowers. Bill overheard and asked, What's that supposed to mean? There are some cookies and cakes left from the mistress' tea party yesterday, the servant said. I hate sweet things, Bill grumbled. But they're for Layla, the servant replied. Bill sighed. Everyone's using Layla as an excuse to come and go as they please. People began bringing gifts for Layla. One brought clothes, saying, these are my little sisters, but they're practically new. Another brought books and said, mystery novels are the best, haha. Some gave stationery, which was unusual for them. Even strangers started visiting, sometimes for no reason at all. It's a real headache, Bill complained. Heh, said a servant fondly. That's because Layla is a darling. It's amazing how such a little thing can be so polite and well-mannered. You can't help but care for her. It's sweet how she scurries around the woods and gardens like a little squirrel, another added. It's been a long time since a child has lived here on the East Estate. Remember how dignified the Duke was even as a child. Someone remarked. One afternoon, someone pointed toward the garden. Oh my goodness, look at Mr. Bill. What is that child doing? She's climbing a tree. A woman shouted, whoever taught her to climb did a great job, huh? She turned to Bill, exasperated. What you meant to say is you taught her, Bill. How exactly are you raising that child? Bill raised his hands in defense. Lord, you scared me. I'm doing a fine job. Is there a problem? Of course there is, she replied. She's a girl. You should be nursing her like a delicate houseplant. Surely, you're not planning to raise that pretty thing like a tomboy, Layla called out loudly. Uncle Bill. Chef Mona, how have you been? Nice weather, isn't it? Bill growled in frustration. God damn it. There's no need to worrying as long as she's healthy. That's all that matters. Chef Mona asked, anyway, have you made a decision? About what? Bill replied. About Layla, of course. It's nearly summer, and you still haven't decided where she stay. Bill had promised to find a place for Layla within a week, but the decision weighed heavily on him. Could an orphanage truly care for her? Was there any other choice? Bill called to Layla. Don't go too far, Layla. She nodded. Yes, uncle. I'll only go as far as the river. Bill thought silently. Where could I send her so she can grow up safe and unharmed? But no answers came. As Bill's thoughts grew heavier, the seasons passed. Summer arrived, and Layla continued to grow, nurtured by his seemingly indifferent but quietly warm care. She blossomed like the flowers Bill tended. Layla loved the beautiful woods of Arvis, the songs of the birds, the rustling leaves, and the changing forest that shifted daily. The branches began to bear fruit, animals expanded their territories, and new life was born on the gentle summer breeze. Watching the sunlight dance across the river's surface, Layla felt as if this place were heaven. Her nights spent in Lovita seemed like a distant memory. Layla often sat in her favorite tree, writing down every detail of the woods in her notebook. She wanted to remember every day, so if misfortune ever struck again, she would never forget these precious memories. One afternoon, Layla returned from the woods. I'm back. Are you going out, uncle? She asked. Bill replied, you're coming with me. Go get ready. We're going into town to buy some clothes. No need to look like that. The Duke is due back soon, and that dress won't do for greeting him. Uncle Bill, Layla said, curious. The Duke is the lord of this estate, isn't he? That's right, Bill confirmed. Now that the academic term is over, he'll be back soon for the summer holidays. He always stays in Arvis. The summer holidays, Layla repeated thoughtfully. Does that mean the Duke goes to school too? Bill nodded. He's 18, so he has no choice but to attend school. Layla looked stunned. The Duke is 18. Bill smiled. Is that really so surprising? Want to hear something even more astounding? He became Duke at your age. Layla gasped. What? At my age? The day the Duke arrived at the station, the air was thick with anticipation. An escort greeted him with a respectful bow. Good morning, Your Grace. We shall escort you to the mansion. The Duke glanced at the waiting carriage and smiled faintly. It's a carriage, not an automobile. The escort replied, Yes, Your Grace. The Dowager does not trust automobiles. The Duke chuckled softly. I know. Grandmother always says those machines are nothing more than inseparably vulgar, dangerous lumps of iron. My apologies, Your Grace, the escort said hurriedly. No need, the Duke replied with a confident nod. Relying on a classic once in a while is no bad thing. Let's go. As the carriage rolled smoothly along the country road, the Duke's manager caught up with him. Reports ready. There are a few immediate items to report, Your Grace. We need to finalize the schedule of social events for your stay in Arvis. Also, the board of directors has raised concerns about the insurance on the trade ships. The Duke listened attentively, nodding. Meanwhile, back at the estate, The workers were unusually alert. The Duke's return was no small event, and everyone seemed on edge. One lady among the servants noticed Layla approaching in a new dress. "Layla, I see you have a new dress. Are you going to greet the Duke?" Layla nodded shyly. "Yes, Uncle Bill bought it for me." The news of the Duke's arrival spread quickly. The Dowager greeted him warmly at the door. "Welcome back, Matthias." The Duke bowed politely. "Grandmother, you have been well, I hope?" "Yes, indeed," she replied with a smile. "Mother says you've grown since she last saw you," the Dowager added. Inside, the family settled to enjoy a prepared supper. Outside, Layla whispered to Bill, "Has the Duke already gone inside?" Bill shook his head. "Looks like we'll have to save the introduction for another time." Layla sighed. "I was hoping to meet him." "You'll see the Duke often enough in the woods. Just ask for his permission." Then, Bill encouraged, "Does the Duke like the forest too?" Layla asked curiously. Bill's tone turned serious. "You could say that. He likes to hunt." "Hunter, in the woods?" Layla was puzzled. Bill nodded. "It's natural. The woods on the estate are the family's hunting grounds." "Does he hunt birds too?" Layla inquired. Bill smiled faintly. "Most likely. He enjoys hunting birds the most. You'd be surprised. Despite his age, he's a cracking shot." "Why hunt birds?" Layla asked, confused. "There's plenty of food back at the mansion," Bill explained. "For nobles like him, hunting is a sport." Layla frowned. "I hope the Duke will come to dislike hunting." Bill muttered under his breath, "Damn, this blasted mouth of mine. I shouldn't have said that." Layla smiled gently. "Well, it's certainly possible." A week later, Layla was running through the grounds, enjoying the day, when she heard the sharp crack of a gunshot. Nearby, a small bird fluttered weakly. "You must be hungry. Hold on a little longer, your mother will be back with food soon." Layla whispered softly. She recalled a dream she had once, where her own mother had said she was going away far away, promising to return before Layla finished eating. The mother bird nearby was in a similar situation, feeding her young chicks. "I'd better get out of the way," Layla thought. "She'd be on guard if I stay." She also remembered how the chicks would begin to fledge 2 weeks after birth and hoped she'd see them playing soon. "I'll tell Uncle Bill too." Suddenly, footsteps approached. Layla hesitated. Who could that be? "I'll wait until they pass." But then, the sound of another gunshot shattered the moment. Startled, Layla cried, "Is that a gun? I was just waiting for you to pass so I could come down safely." A tall man stepped out. "Who are you?" "I'm Layla," she answered quietly. Later, she ran to Bill. "Uncle Bill, I bumped into someone in the woods. He had black hair and blue eyes, and his voice sounded like the rush of a waterfall. He was holding a gun," and then more people appeared. Bill laughed heartily. "So that's why you're so worked up. You must have bumped into the Duke hunting in the woods. Didn't I tell you you'd see him there? Did you introduce yourself properly?" "I did," Layla replied. As the realization dawned on her, Layla thought, that must be the Duke. She remembered Bill's words about the Duke's hunting skills and sighed. Bill said kindly, "Come on, child, let's get you inside." Matthias von Herhart, heir to a noble family, was often called the masterpiece of the house of Herhart. He possessed the dignity and refined manners of the highest nobility. Loved by many, he was the ideal nobleman. Yet Layla, who lived on his estate, thought differently. When the Duke visited the woods, countless birds fell prey to his hunting. The birds were small and difficult targets, making them intriguing for him. Worse still, he never looked back at the prey he struck. They lay bleeding and dying, while he simply turned and left. Not long ago, a mother chickadee, who tirelessly fed her chicks all day, was killed by one of the Duke's shots. The fragile chicks, now orphaned, died before they could leave the nest. Layla, saddened and angry, buried the bird's body quietly. During the month the Duke had visited, Layla privately named him the beautiful bird butcher. Of course, this was just her opinion. One hot afternoon, Layla thought to herself, "I wonder if I can take a break. Uncle Bill is working hard in the heat, but if I offer to help, he'll just tell me to rest. If I say I'll follow him again, he'll get angry. I have to be careful." Just then, someone stepped towards her. "Hello there," said a boy Layla hadn't seen before. Startled, Layla asked, "Who are you?" "I'm Kyle," he said. "I came with my father, the family physician. Today he's examining the Dowager Herhart. Sometimes I come along." "Do you live here?" he asked. Yes, with Uncle Bill, Layla replied. You mean that scary groundskeeper? Kyle chuckled. No, Uncle Bill isn't scary, Layla defended. Kyle smiled. Do you live here too? No, he said. I'm just visiting. How old are you? He asked. 12, said Layla. Same as me. But you're really small, Kyle teased. You're small too, Layla retorted. Kyle laughed. I'm the biggest in my class. Well, small is small, Layla shrugged. They sat in the shade, sharing peaches. Kyle asked gently, why do you look so down? Did something happen? Layla sighed. The Duke and his friends keep hunting birds. So what? Kyle shrugged. For sport, Layla replied quietly. That's not what hunting means, Kyle said. Do you hunt too? No, I feel sorry for them. It must be so sad for the animals. Kyle nodded thoughtfully. You're strange, but nice. Would you like another piece? Layla smiled. These peaches are really sweet and juicy. I picked them myself. Before parting, Kyle promised, I'll bring something tasty next time. Layla thought, I might be leaving this place soon, but it's better not to say anything. Later, Kyle's mother asked, who is that boy? Kyle smiled. She lives with the groundskeeper. She's the same age as me. Back at the estate, Bill called out loudly, Layla, come down here. Be careful not to fall. Layla ran over. Have you finished your work? Yes, Bill said. Are you hungry? I am. I had some peaches earlier. Oh, and I met someone new. Bill raised an eyebrow. Who? His name is Kyle, Layla said. He's the same age as me. Meanwhile, the Duke and his friends talked admiringly. It's astounding how every shot hits its mark. Tracking those tiny birds with your eyes is hard. Bill greeted the Duke respectfully. Good afternoon, Your Grace. The Duke nodded. Long time, no see, Mr. Remmer. Bill said carefully, I'm sorry to inform you only now, but I'm taking care of this child in Arvis for the time being. I have permission from both the Dowager and Lady Herhart, but I haven't asked Your Grace until now. The Duke looked over at Layla. You're that girl, aren't you? The one who lives in the woods. Layla hid behind a tree, quietly burying dead birds. The Duke muttered dismissively, Oh, that ridiculous girl who was sitting in a tree almost shot thinking she was a bird. As you wish, Mr. Bill. Thank you, Your Grace, Bill replied respectfully. They left the conversation behind. Lady Claudine sat stiffly, trying to act like a proper lady. She must know this isn't any ordinary tea party. She can't keep sighing like that. I'm so lonely and bored, Claudine confessed. Her mother suggested, why don't you go play with your brothers? They treat me like I don't exist, Claudine said subtly. They only talk about things I don't understand. Lady Herhart sighed. Of course, it must be dull for you. There are no children your age here. Claudine's eyes sparkled. Who is that? She looks about my age. May I play with her? Lady Herhart frowned. Perhaps. Was she not an orphan from abroad? I don't think she would make a suitable playmate for you. I don't mind, Claudine said stubbornly. I'd rather play with her than a puppy. Her mother sighed. Honestly, what's gotten into you? Lady Herhart nodded. Bring her here. A maid came to Bill. Lady Herhart wants me to bring Layla. Bill frowned. But why? The young lady from the house says she wants to play with Layla. Bill hesitated. He couldn't say no, it was an order. Layla said to Bill, I'll go see Lady Herhart then come home. Layla stood nervously before Lady Herhart and Claudine. Lady Herhart said, This is the first time I've seen her up close, but she is very beautiful. How about you, Claudine? Is she to your liking? Yes, she is. Thank you, Lady Herhart, Claudine said politely. Layla wondered silently, am I to her liking? What does she mean by that? Among the people dressed in luxurious clothes, no one seemed to care about how Layla felt. Afterward, a maid took Layla by the hand and led her somewhere she had never been before. She was washed in an ornate bathroom and dressed in soft, white clothes. The maid's touch was rough and sometimes hurt, but Layla endured silently, afraid she might get Uncle Bill into trouble if she didn't obey. Lady Claudine was the daughter of Count Brant, a noble family. She was not someone one could be on familiar terms with. Bill warned Layla to remember her place. Layla nodded quietly.